In today's session, we will talk about a very important topic that is list and tuple. When you go for the interview, this is the favorite question of the interviewer. What is the difference? What is the difference? What is the difference between list and tuple? So in this session, we will explore list and tuple in more detail. So we understand the concept of this list and tuple with some example. So we start with list. So first we have to make one list, and for that we have to take one reference by the name list, and inside list we have to assign some data. So if you want to make a list, so it's compulsory to use a square bracket, and inside that square bracket you have to take any type of data. Okay, so any type of data is allowed, means that if you want to take an integer type of data, float type of data, or mixed type of data, all type of data is allowed here. Okay, so in this we have to first make one list, and inside this we have to write petrol. Then we have to write stationery. Okay, and inside this we have to write, okay, we have to write the college name, that is ADYPU. Then we have to take some numbers like 1 2 3 and some floating point number like 5.6. Okay, so we have to make one list. Okay, in this we have to take a different type of data: string form, integer form, and floating point form. Okay, now we have to make some other reference, okay, by the name list1, and we have to assign the same data. Okay, and we have to assign the same data. So for that I have to copy the same data and assign in list1. Okay, now pause the video and think how many objects created in this case. Okay, so first pause the video and think how many objects created in this case. Okay, so it will create a two object. We know that here the data is same, but let's not support the concept of object reusability, and it is mutable. Okay, so first we understand the concept of object reusability. Okay, so for that we have to first check the address. For that we have to use id function, and inside id we have to pass list. Then again we have to use id function to check the address, and inside this we have to pass list1. Okay, and if you want to check the address, for that we have to use is operator also, because is operator is checking the address and double equal operator is checking the content. Okay, so we have to write like this, like list is list1, and in second line we have to write like this, like print list equal list1, because it will create two different objects. For line number 9 we will get false as an output, and in line number 10 we will get true as an output, because content is same, so it will return true. So for verify our output, we have to run the program and see it will create two different object, because it will get two different object. For we will get false as an output, and content is same, that's why we will get true as an output for last number line, for last line, that is line number 10. Okay, so I think you understand the concept. Okay, what is object reusability concept, and let's not support the concept of object reusability. Data is same, but it will create two different objects. Now, what is the meaning of mutability? Okay, so to understand the concept, first we have to update some data in list1. So for that we have to write like this, like list, and with the help of indexing. Okay, there are some functions also that we cover. Okay, after this topic. Okay, so inside this we have to pass the index. Okay, so we want to change petrol to diesel. Okay, for that we have to write list 0 equal to, and here we write diesel. Okay, and again we check the address. Again we check the address of list, but before checking we have to first print it. Okay, so for that we have to write print list and print id of list. Okay, Now if we run the program, see the output. Now petrol will change to diesel, and if we check the address is still same. So it is mutable, means that if you want to change data in list, so it is possible. Okay, it will not create new object. So that is actually mutability concept. Okay, so I think you get better understand what is object usability and what is mutability concept. Okay, now if you want to access the data, okay, so for that first we have to remove everything. Now we move to next point. Okay, so again we take some list with some data, and inside that we have to take only integer type of data. Okay, to understand the concept only. Okay, so 7, 8 and 9. Now if you want to access the data, so you can easily access by using indexing. So if you write like this, like list, and inside this square bracket, if you want to access any number with index, so if you pass 4, okay, and if you negative indexing is also allowed. So if you write like this, like list, and inside this if you pass -1, both work, and you will get 5 and 9 as an output. Why 5? Because we know that it starts from 0. List is always start from 0 index. So 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. At 4th index we have 5. That's why we will get 5 as an output. And for negative indexing always start from -1. Okay, so -1, at -1 we have 9, and that's why we will get 9 as an output. Okay, but what happened if we print like this, like print, and inside this we have to pass 100, so definitely we will get error in this case. Okay, I think index out of bound error, something like that. So if we run the program, we will get an index error, that is a list index out of range. So that is actually the error. Okay, so if you go beyond the range, so definitely you will get an error, that is index error, list index out of range. Okay, now if we also want to access the data in by using a slicing concept, so that is also possible. So for that you have to write like this, like print, and inside print, and if you write like this, like you start from 2 and then use that colon sign, and if you run the program, then first guess what is the output. So we know that list always start from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 2. So it starts from 3 and till end it will print, means that from we will get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 as an output. Okay, for that again we run the program, see the output 3 to 9. Okay, so that is actually a slicing concept. Okay, and if you want to print it in a reverse order, so for that you have to write like this, like list, inside this you have to write like this, like colon colon -1. So it will print the list in a reverse order. Okay, and if you want to print by using a step parameter, so for that you have to write like this, like list, and uh, inside this list you have to use a square bracket, and inside the square bracket you have to write 2 colon colon 2. Now see the output. It will give you 3, then 5, then 7 and 9, means that it will step by 2. So it start from 3, then it move 2 steps, so reach 5, then again 2 steps, it reached 7, and again 2 steps, it reached 9, and that is the reason we will get 3, 5, 7, 9 as an output. Means that indexing and slicing both are applicable on list. Okay, we have some function also. Okay, so if we want to like add some data inside the list, so for that we have append function, extend function. Okay, so suppose that if you want to add 10 to the list, so for that you have to write like this, like list dot, and you have to use append function, and inside append you have to pass 10, and if you print the list, so list is updated, and you will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 as an output. So append will always append at the last. Okay, if you want to append a group of element like that, you have one more list with the name list1, and inside this you have data like 11, 12 and 13, and you want to add this data to the existing list, that is list1. So for that you have to use extend function. So you have to use another function, that is extend, and inside this you have to pass list1. And if we again print the list, so see the output, that data is added at the end of the list. Okay, so if you want to add only one data, for that you have append function. If you want to add the group of data, for that you have extend function. If you want to delete the data, okay, if you want to delete data, so for that you have pop function. Okay, so for that you have to write like this, like list dot pop. So pop will always remove the data from end. Okay, so here I write like this, like print list. So it will print the updated list and it will remove 13 from the list. Okay, like if you give some index inside the pop, okay, so for that we have to write like this, like list, then again we use pop, and inside this we have to pass 1. Okay, so it will pop means that it will remove the first element, means that is 2. Okay, and for verify the output we have to print the list. We have to print the list. See the output, it will remove 2. Okay, and if you want to remove the data, so for remove you have to write like this, like remove. And if you want to remove like 9, okay, so it will remove 9. And for verify that output we will print again the updated list. Okay, so see the output, it will remove 9. Okay, so we have pop, we have remove, we also have delete, dial keyword also. So if you want to delete like list, if you want to delete on the basis of some index, okay, so you want to delete 1, so del will help you. And again we want to print the updated list, so see the output, it will remove 1. So we have pop, we have remove, we have del keyword if you want to remove data from the list. So we have append if you want to add the data, so we have append, we have extend. Okay, I think we have insert also, so we have to check list dot insert. Okay, so if you want to insert the data, okay, so first you have to give the index also. I want to add on 0th index and I want to add 14. Okay, and again if we want to print the updated list, so we have to use print list and see the output, it will add 14 at the first index. So for that we have multiple functions. So inside this, if you want to add data, you have append function, extend, insert. If you want to if you want to remove data, so for that we have pop, remove, and delete. Okay, we have some more function, like if you want to sort the data, so for that you have to write like this, like list dot sort. Okay, so sort will sort the data, entire data, and here we have integer type of data. Okay, so it will sort the complete data and see the output. So for that again we run the program and see the output, it will sort the data. So it have multiple functions, so list have multiple functions because it's mutable, so it have collection of multiple functions. If you want to add data, remove data, if you want to create a copy of it, so for that we have copy function. So it have multiple functions. Okay, so now we move to tuple. Okay, so I think you will get a better understand what is list. So list is mutable and it not support the concept of object reusability, and it have multiple functions. If we want to add data, so we have add function, we have add, append, extend, insert. If you want to remove data, we have pop, remove, and del keyword. If you and we have a multiple function, means that if you want to perform a sorting operation, for that we have sort function. If you want to create a copy, for that we have copy function. Okay, so that is actually list. Now we move to next topic, that is tuple. Okay, so if you want to take a screenshot, so please take it, otherwise I will clear the screen. Now we move to tuple. Okay, so for that we have to make one tuple, and inside this we have to take some data, integer type of data, and it will allow different types of data. Means that if you want to take a mixed type of data, so that is possible. Okay, so here I take 1 2 3, and inside this we take some string also. So for that we have to write petrol. Okay, and again we have to make some other reference, that is stub1, and inside this we have to take the same data. We have to take the same data. Okay, okay, now again pause the video and think how many objects created in this case. So tuple is immutable and support the concept of object reusability. Because content is same, it will not create new object. So in this scenario, only one object is created. To verify my point, I will write like this, like print tub is tub1, and because content is same, so again we use double equal operator. We know that is the operator is checking the address and double equal operator is checking the content. So we have to write like this, like tub is equal to tub1, and see the output. It will return true because it will create only one object. And again, if you want to verify, so for that you have id function. So you have to write like this, like print id of tub, and you have to print the id of tub1. Okay, so see, we have same address. As conclude, tuple is immutable and support the concept of object reusability. Okay, so to verify the point, tuple is immutable and support the concept of object reusability. To check it is immutable or not, we have to assign some data to tuple. So we have to write like tub 0 is equal to, and here we want to assign like 14. Okay, again pause the video and think what is the output. Definitely we will get error. See the error. So error is tuple object does not support item assignment because it is immutable, it is unchangeable. Okay, so if you want to change the data, you will get error. Okay, because tuple is immutable, that is unchangeable. Okay, because it is unchangeable, so it not have huge amount of functions collection. Okay, like list, it have only I think two functions. First is index and second is count. Means that if you want to count, okay, so for that we have to uh, add some more data. So 1 2 3 4 and 5. Again we have to copy the same data and put inside tub1. Okay, now if you want to count, so for that you have to write tub dot count, and you want to count the occurrence of 1. Okay, so it will give you 2 because 1 will come 2 times, so you will get 2 as an output. So you have count function. You have one more function in tuple, that is index. It have actually two functions only. First one is tuple and second is count. First one is index and second is count. So we use the second function, that is index, and we want to check the index of 3. Okay, so it will give you 2 as an output again. Okay, again if we write like hmm, we will write petrol, so it will give you 0 1 2 3 as an output. So it will give you the index. Okay, so in tuple you have only two functions. First one is count and second is index. Okay, but if you want to print the data, so for that if you want to print the data with the help of indexing, means that you have to write like this, like tub of 3. Definitely it will print data for you. If you want to use a negative indexing, so that is also applicable. So if you write like this, like tub, and set this, you have to write -1, it perfectly work. If you want to use slicing operation, so for that you have to write like this, like print tub, and suppose that you want to print in reverse order by using a slicing function, so you have to write like this, tub -1. So indexing is possible, slicing is possible. Okay, so it perfectly work. Even if you want to access data, so you can also access the data by using a for loop. So for that you have to write like this, like for I in tub, and you want to print the data, so for that you have to print I. So for loop will fetch one value from the tuple and print that value for you. Okay, so you can also use, if you want to use a for function to access the value, so that is also possible. So the important point about the tuple is immutable and it supports the concept of object reusability. Okay, so what is the exact difference between the list and tuple? So list is mutable, tuple is immutable. List not support the concept of object reusability, but tuples support the concept of object reusability. List have huge amount of function collection like add, append, extend, pop, insert, remove, delete, copy, sort. But tuple have only two functions, index and count, because it is immutable. In list we use a square bracket, in a tuple we use a round bracket. So I think you will get a better understanding about the list and tuple. So that's all of my today's session. Thank you so much.